All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Gervonta Tank Davis and Devin Haney. And word out there on the street that Devin Haney is trying to make the Gervonta Tank Davis fight, not the George Kambosos fight, and that Gervonta Davis is receptive. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. We are in the 135-pound division with some news that I absolutely positively hope is true. But before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you so much for your support. You are what makes this channel go. Thank you for your support on the live streams that we do every day, and thank you for your support in the videos that we do every day. It is essential to the channel. Thank you. If you are new to the channel, please let me extend my invitation to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos, which we do on the daily basis, both in live stream and video format. So check it out. Join the boxing community. We always have really good boxing conversations going on, including this one, which is about the lightweight division and the fight that really should be made if everything was right in the world. The fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Devin "The Dream" Haney at 135 pounds, which would be a matchup between the guy that holds all the belt and the guy that holds all of the attention of the boxing world. The guy that holds all the belts is Devin Haney. The guy that holds all the attention of the boxing fans, for the most part, is Gervonta Tank Davis, the WBA regular champion. So out on Twitter today, there has been conversations going on about Bill Haney having approached Gervonta Davis's camp in an attempt to get them to talk about a fight with him between the two of those guys next, and that Gervonta Davis has said that he is open to the fight. This is unverified. I did not talk to Bill Haney. I did not talk to Gervonta Davis's camp, obviously, right? But this is just conversations that are going on where people are certain that this has taken place. Many times these type of things are true. Sometimes they wind up not panning out. In this particular instance, I have a suspicion that it is not going to pan out because of the following reasons. One is Devin Haney, what Devin Haney would have to do in order to make that fight take place. Now, people had mentioned that Devin Haney had done what it was necessary to do to get the fight with George Kambosos in Australia by taking a pay cut, also by going over there to Australia to make that fight, right? And that is a lot. Will not lie about that. However, in order to make the Gervonta Davis fight, he would have to do a lot more. First of all, he would have to get George Kambosos to agree not to take the rematch with him. Number one, right? So, because George Kambosos has exercised his rematch clause, he would have to get do one of two things. Have to have George Kambosos not do the rematch clause, deactivate it, whatever the phrase is, or waive his right to it for up until after the Gervonta Davis fight, right? Which means if Devin Haney loses Gervonta Davis, George Kambosos would have to either get a rematch with Gervonta, or he would lose his ability to get a rematch because Gervonta's on about his business, right? So that's one thing. The other thing that he would have to get past in order to do this is he would have to get past Bob Arum, who I do believe has an option on him for one more fight after the George Kambosos fight. And so Bob Arum would have to be willing to make a fight with Mayweather Promotions, and for those guys to have that fight more than likely on Showtime. Would not be an ESPN fight. It would probably be a Showtime fight. And why would that be? Because of the fact that I brought up early in the video that Devin Haney holds all the belts. Gervonta Davis holds all of the public interest, or the majority of the public interest. So he's bringing the numbers to the fight. Now, the fight would be a huge fight, no doubt about it, right? No doubt about it. I believe it'd be a very, very big fight with Gervonta and Devin. However, the reason that the fight would be a very big fight is primarily because of Gervonta Davis and the belts that Devin Haney holds, but not Devin Haney himself. And as you know, the belts are a cost center. They actually cost you money, while being the guy that is the cash cow brings in money. So that would mean not only would Devin Haney have to get past George Kambosos, Devin Haney would have to convince Bob Arum to go over to let him take those belts over there to Showtime in a fight that he very well could lose against Gervonta Davis, and take extremely short money doing it, right? So if all those things could come together, then yeah, more than likely that fight would happen, because I do believe that Gervonta Davis would be interested in fighting Devin Haney. And even if you look at what prospects Gervonta has next, for example, over the PBC, he's got a couple different lightweights over there that he could be fighting. One of them is Michelle Rivera. Michelle Rivera is probably not as difficult to fight as Devin Haney. However, it's still a very difficult fight, right? And Gervonta Davis, to me, seems like somebody that is fairly confident in his ability and would be willing to fight Devin Haney, right? For that, because he feels like, and I've heard this before out of his camp, like, look, Devin's going to have to be perfect for 12 rounds. Same thing with Shakur. Devin's going to have to be perfect for 12 rounds. Gervonta's going to have to he has to be perfect for a second in order to get Devin Haney out of there. So, from that aspect, I think he would. Now, the other dark horse in this whole thing is Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mayweather Promotions, and whether or not they would be willing to make that fight. There, I cannot answer the question. I know that Floyd Mayweather Jr. has said in the past that he is not, that he didn't see Gervonta and Devin fighting, because they're going to wind up because those guys are in different weight classes. Gervonta's really a 130 pounder, and I suspect that Devin Haney is probably really a 140 pounder, or maybe a small welterweight. But eventually, as he gets older, he probably will grow into a full-fledged welterweight, where Gervonta Davis is pretty much, I think, reasonably, any reasonable assessment, capped at 135 pounds. So I don't know if he would if Floyd would change his mind about putting Gervonta in against Devin with that big a size advantage for Devin's part, right? And also a lot of money and all that stuff risking against a guy that is a very good fighter, right? So anyway, my take on the matter is probably that this is a little bit of clout chasing, more than likely, because there has to be some, and this is not unique to any particular group of people. There's a lot of people that will start talking about fights because they're trying to generate buzz and keep people's name out there and say, okay, yeah, this is what we want to do. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the Gervonta Davis fight, even though they know, we should all know that is not very likely to happen because of the way that everything is situated. Devin Haney already has another 2 fights lined up, and at that point in time, he will have been in that weight class for a very long time, and I doubt very much that he stays in there much longer. But anyway, we'll see how it plays out. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And again, thank you so much for your support for the channel. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.